Hello, thank you so much for joining me here. These are some informal videos to share with you a little bit of my experience, and this is going to be about vibrato, which has easily been, for me as a teacher, the most complicated part of conveying violin skills. I have just felt, I think, flummoxed for the first decade. And I really didn't find my stride for quite a while in this. So if that's you, I'll just give you a big hug. I can empathize. And wherever you're at in your teaching, or if you're a violinist watching this, it's great for you as well. I want to show you a little bit different approach that I developed to teaching vibrato. So we're going to start with what makes the violin so complicated. So I love it. I love it with every cell in my body. I'm drawn to it in ways that I'll never be able to explain in language, but who thought of actually taking something and defying gravity and then plopping it on one shoulder? So think about that. The violin is up, you have to hold it up, and it's asymmetrical. That's not ergonomic at all, is it? So I wanted to take those two components out. So I had my students start to do their vibrato exercises in what I call cello position. So they'll just go ahead and they'll put their instrument here. They need to be seated for this. They can just sit on the floor or a chair. Now we're going to do three parts to this. There's going to be knocking, sliding, and rocking. So the knocking is exactly what it sounds. I want you to pretend that this is a wall or better yet, it's your door, it's your front door, and I'm coming over for dinner, and I'm just going to knock on your door to let you know I'm there. That motion is the same motion we're going to use for the first part of these three components of these vibrato exercises. So find this fleshy part of your thumb here, the part where you have a little bit extra flesh that you can grab onto, and you're going to put it on the upper ridge. Do not put it on the rib that's not high enough, so it's got to go there, about like that, and you're going to knock. Now, I taught this a lot, and I'm going to just go right into what most students are going to do, and it's hard to see because it goes kind of fast. So I'll slow it down. They're going to do fingers only, fingers only, fingers only. The movement needs to come there. That's supposed to be a pen working. Okay, the pen is not working, but you get the idea. The movement comes from back there. Sometimes you can draw a little dot on their hands so they really gain a little more awareness. So they're going to knock above their strings. It'll be above the neck here. Position doesn't need to be precise there. Important things to look for, again, are that the movement's coming from the palm of the hand and that there's a C shape in there. So that's movement one, just knocking. Number two is sliding. So I like to use second and third finger for starting vibrato, and I always say those fingers then teach the other fingers how to do it. I personally prefer second, but you can play around with that a little bit. And I'm going to take it in between A and D. Let's see if you can see this, get a little closer. And I'm just going to slide. I'm going to find a more extreme motion that I really need just to train this. And I use the strings to act like little train tracks to guide my finger into that. This is about the time where sometimes it helps to add an extra activity of just taking the finger and the thumb and working on loosening up those joints, or however you think of it, it also builds awareness. So you're starting to see, okay, this part of the finger moves. This part of the finger moves. That's step two. We get smaller and smaller, and then we stay in one spot, and it's going to not be too far in either direction. It's going to be kind of in the middle from my hand, that's about at the edge of the violin, and I'm just going to rock. Things to check in here. Is it still that C shape? Are you collapsed? Are you too close to the neck of the violin there? Another thing that happens is that the hand is just too low and you just can't get the motion, or it distorts all the work we just did. So after that's easy, so let's go through that again. We've got the knocking, the sliding, getting smaller, rocking. After that's easy in cello posture, then we'll put those crazy parts of playing the violin back in. We're going to lift it up, plop it on one shoulder, and we'll just go through the whole series again. Let's see if you can see this here. Got the knocking, sliding in between, staying in one spot, and that's vibrato. Common errors are to be too low. That's going to get you this, and you don't want that. So a parent can help by looking for that and also just stabilizing it. You can come in there and hold it. So the second part of this video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about a way to transfer this information to young children so they can have success at home. So stories, the ancient art of storytelling, I should say, is just something that connects with us as human beings. And the great part about it is your stories don't have to make sense. They don't have to be sophisticated. They just have to be a story. If you can make it personal, bonus points. But a fun little story that we could do, I was working with a student this spring on that, is that we said, Grandpa wanted to come and pick up his 5-year-old grandson. So he went and knocked on the door. And he said, where do you want to go today? And the little boy said, oh, I'm going to go ice skating. And we went sliding in there. And then Grandpa got tired and he sat in his rocking chair and his grandson sat in his lap. Not a very complicated story, but the kids love it. And then they can change components, and in the process of changing those components, their imagination is engaged, they're having a little bit more ownership in the process, and they're just getting lost in a story. So I'm really fond of saying when the spirit is fed, the body will work, and this is a great example of that. So happy times to you working on teaching vibrato. If you're a player, working on your vibrato. And this is, like I said, it has been the most complicated part of my teaching. It really is. It took me just so long, I think 10 or 15 years to really get a system down. So maybe you've got some ideas. We would love to hear those. Please go ahead and share those in the comments below. Thank you so much, and would love to see you on another video and love to invite you to my website.